Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of Shadows over Salem, Vampire the Masquerade V5 Chronicle on Lagniappe Gaming. I am your storyteller, Mike. Let's hear from our players. Who do we have this evening?
Hi, I'm James the Lorebot. I will be playing Sasha Lupin. His pronouns are he, him.
Hey, I'm Sarah. I will be playing Alexis Moore. Pronouns are she, her.
Hey everybody, I am Lou, and I will be playing Rolando Galvez, the resident spooky boy.
Happy to be back with all these lovely individuals. Speaking of lovely, our sponsor this evening is Odd Duck Dice. You can find them at Odd Duck Dice on Instagram, on Twitter, on TikTok for awesome, awesome reveals straight out of molds. A little example of their fantastic work. They are extremely customizable. Odd Duck herself shall work with you one-on-one to create your perfect image that you want in a set of rolling math rocks. Odd Duck Dice.
Get them click-clack rocks.
We love them. So, when last we left off, Alex was heading out to the boardwalk. Wow. While our other two intrepid coterie members were hanging behind for now. So we're going to...
No, I did follow her out.
Are you sure?
I did follow her out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then you followed her out. Then Rolando, the cheese stands alone.
Yeah.
We're going to touch on you really quick first, and then we're going to follow out the other two. So, Rolando. The other two step out. You have an item that's currently wrapped up in a piece of linen that's on a table in front of you, and you recently just saw some type of vision, prophecy. You're not exactly sure what. It almost as if like it came out of a movie. Almost as if it came from somebody's vantage point that you did not recognize them or other individuals, and it had themes of sounding like almost underwater. What do you do?
He actually goes to he goes to his office, and he opens up his desk drawer, and there's like a kind of like a fancy journal in there, and he starts writing down everything that he can remember of the conversation that was taking place. He's trying to like jot down some details, just so that he remembers what transpired. To him it seemed like conversational. He couldn't really tell the context of what was going on, but it was kind of tense between a couple of the people involved in the conversation, and then everybody, there was some tension there. He didn't know the environment. It kind of seemed like it was warbly underwater, but it also sounded like there was other sound in the background, like music being played. So he got the impression that it was like at a club, or there was an event going on, that was playing music. And so he's just trying to like really lock down the details so he doesn't forget anything. And then, once he's done writing, he closes the book, and he goes out, and he realizes that everybody's gone for the night, and he doesn't have any more appointments for the evening. So he ends up just sitting down at the room that he uses for seances and readings and such, and he kind of folds his hands, and he's looking at his tarot deck that's like on one of the tables nearby, and he's like he wants to lay out his own cards, but he's hesitant to do so because he's feeling like there is so much going on that he's being influenced in a way that he knows that there's going to be some sort of weird vibe and bias. So he gets up, and he walks over to the front door, and he opens up and he just looks outside because he's kind of expecting somebody to show up, not somebody corporeal, but at least somebody spiritual, like, you know, like just some of the random spirits that seem to congregate and loiter sometimes in front of the shop. And there always seems to be like this weird little event that happens when they show up. It's not just like them walking down the street. It's not just them, appearing. There's always like some sort of little event that happens, like, and he's just he sits down on the stoop and he's just kind of waiting, to see who's going to show up tonight. How weirder is this night going to get?
Careful what you ask for. So, you do stick your head out, take a couple of steps. It's something that you do from time to time, but not super often. When you take the step out, you do notice the sound of sirens and the sound of fire trucks, and you actually see a fire truck go about a block ahead of you, but heading... I would like you to make me an intelligence and awareness.
Okay. I'm currently at 2 hunger, so...
You are. And for folks at home, 2 hunger means you sub in 2 hunger dice as part of your total.
I got 2 critical success, total of 3 critical successes and a critical on the one blood die.
That's awesome.
So 4 in total, but yeah. So it's really like 6.
You stick your head out and you turn it left, and the direction that the fire truck is heading into, at least 6 to 7 blocks off, but off in the distance because it is a relatively flat area, you can see barricades way down and small hints of flashing lights, and up in the sky, a plume of smoke.
Do I know which direction? Oh, well, Alex was heading towards the boardwalk.
That would have been straight ahead from your porch outward.
Right.
You were out and looking, despite
Down.
what this camera says, left.
Okay. Yeah, that was my...
No.
Okay. Okay, so not in the direction that she was heading.
No.
Good. But I do, just to give her a heads up, and I don't know if anybody else is. What did that fire truck look like?
Standard fire truck.
Okay, all right. It
Fucking ladder.
Weird. It wasn't some weird old timey fire truck
Nope.
that just.
It was a real fire truck.
Okay.
Straight up.
Like,
something that's actually happening right now.
Okay, so like a legit.
Yeah.
They're legit going to some sort of emergencies.
Yep.
But I do send a group message to to the 2 of them, and just say like, hey, you guys hear those sirens, right? So there's going to be a lot of activity. Just keep your wits about you.
With that text, we're going to jump to our other 2 coterie mates who are, I'm going to probably say, half a block from the boardwalk. And the walk from the shop, the actual boardwalk, is only like 2.5 to 3 blocks away, if that. From Rolando's front corner side porch area, he can see the ocean. So it really isn't super far. You 2 do receive a text, and at the same time, you do hear those sirens off in the distance.
What?
You got to keep your eyes on the swivel.
Nah. Yeah, well, let's get this meeting over with, I guess.
So,
Yeah.
you head out onto the boardwalk. And in this area, it's a mixture between comparing it to the Jersey Shore, if it was in its down season. And if you ever saw A Perfect Storm, it is the start of shipping season. So you do see plenty of piers packed. But it's not of tourists. It's of ship workers, dock workers, fishermen, people that are making deliveries, stocking up, equipment sales to fix things on boats. And then as the ocean is out to your east, when you look inland back west on the actual boardwalk, is actually pretty decently clean. Some of the shops are setting up to open up. Some of them are open. There's tourist spots. There's a wax museum. There's a couple of vintage variety shops, like they have an old-time Christmas ornament shop that everything is handmade of specific types of carved driftwoods and things that scream Lynn, things that scream Massachusetts. They have her own shanty version of a fortune teller shop, but compared to Orlando's, this ain't shit. All different types of food, but things primarily focused around fish and or crustaceans, those types of themes, because that's the heavy high trade and sales in this area. That is the primary product that drives everything here. You do have some tourists, but it's not exactly tourist season. So if anything, it's people looking out over binocular sets to peer out over the ocean. Anything that is visible at this vantage point from the north and the south, you can see two different sets of lighthouses. You do have a couple of ships off in the distance, and the actual boardwalk itself is about 20 to 25 feet wide. And then out to your east, where the ocean is, you do have certain sections where it breaks off into its own pier. So, where are we headed to?
Alex is keen on trying to scope out the address before we go and do the actual meeting that we were requested to do. So she's just gonna nonchalantly kind of circle around the block. She's kind of just used to walking and no one paying attention to her, so she just kind of goes.
Are you two walking together?
No, when I notice she's facing the joint, I also just kind of like wheelie off into the other area. Just skate up the boardwalk, just in a different direction to just, enjoy, look like I'm enjoying myself, but also looking at the people more than looking at the area.
Okay. Then I'm gonna have you both make me wits and awareness. I am going to give Sasha a bonus dice because they are specifically looking for people.
Yep.
What physical traits or actions are you attempting to spot?
I'm mainly trying to look for anybody that looks out of place. Like, just the usual, like, okay, that's a yokel, that's a tourist, like, no. Just, like, if anybody's, like, brooding or, like, watching, like, that type of thing.
What do we got, Alex?
I have 4 successes. My focus is a little bit more on just entrances, exits, just making sure there's not people, like, posted to be watching,
No, fair. I also got 4.
Okay. We're going to start with Alex. Alex, the address that was pitched to you is a computer repair shop. However, the outside of the store says closed. And at this time, it's probably between, I want to say, 12:30 to 2-ish in the morning on average. So there are a couple of shops that are closed because of the actual time. There are stuff that stays open, like a couple of bars, a couple of restaurants, even a couple of like vintage swag shops, like tourist shops for t-shirts and whatnot, just to try to catch people at the tail end. There's a tattoo shop out there. But for the most part, any of the high-end businesses are closed, including this computer kind of half repair shop, half coffee house type of thing. You do see a couple of benches on the opposite side. They are taken up by a couple of individuals, either a couple just snuggled up together talking to each other. There's a gentleman reading a paper under a spotlight. There is another older gentleman who is out there throwing bread to the pigeons.
At 2 a.m.
Yep. Sasha, you were specifically looking for people. So
Yep.
you do see the 3 sets of individuals I just described to you. But with 4 successes, you also see a set of benches over, somebody else reading a paper. And then a set of benches before, you have a gentleman reading a book. The thing that stands out about everybody that's reading, they all have the same type of shoe. And they all have the same type of dress, uniformish pants. One of them has an overcoat, like a 3/4 length pea coat. This is like the tail end of spring, almost beginning of summer. So this time of night, anywhere between 40 to 60, especially oceanside, there is going to be that cold front that comes in, so it can get breezy. The gentleman that's reading the book has a hoodie, and it seems as if he has an apparatus that's hooked onto the shoulder that is a light that has a bendable neck on it that's aimed at the book. But yeah, there is a weird amount of people out for this time of night. Back over to Alex for the actual building itself. You do have space in between some of the shops. Specifically with this shop, there is an equal amount of alley space between both sides before it cuts into the next shop. It spans between like 10 and 12 feet each. The left side has a spotlight. The right side is completely dark, but you can see from this vantage point, the back side at the tail end has some type of dumpster that's fenced off. So, Alex.
Yeah, Alex is just gonna immediately just dip towards the dark side.
Okay.
Yeah.
You pass into the dark alleyway. The sign that's hanging out of the front end off of an old style post says hard drives and dives in semi-neon. That's the only thing that's actually flashing on in the store. The actual open sign is off. All the lights through the front interior windows are off. When you head into the dark inside, it does have a side entrance.
Am I able to just like pop on heightened senses to see if I hear anybody like moving?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, do you want me to do wits awareness?
Sure.
Aspects? Yeah.
Wits awareness, add your aspects level.
Sasha will also text Alex. He's just gonna simply text her 3 twins reading.
Yeah, got 3 successes, just kind of nonchalantly just gonna lean against the building and kind of listen in just to see if there's any movement or anything.
Currently for movement, you don't hear anything. You do hear machinery inside. It's not really out of place since it's a computer shop.
Yeah.
From directly across from you, you have a restaurant. So you do hear people shuffling in the kitchen end over there. However, their entrance door is shut. So you don't have a vantage point in and or out.
Mm.
and you can hear people off in the distance on the actual boardwalk. Anybody that's walking past, you do irritably hear rolling of Heelys up and down the block, and you know exactly who that is. Every board, every hole, every nail they clip, you know who that is.
Yeah. I'm gonna keep my position, but once Sasha kind of like wheels towards me, I'm just gonna like signal, hopefully, for them to.
Yeah, he'll slide into the alley next door. Yes, love.
So everything seems fine. Do you want us to just go in, or?
We also, those individuals out there reading, they have a similar uniform. So they may be watching this place.
All right. Well, do you wanna go or no?
I'll go. I'm just letting you know.
Okay. Cool.
Do either of you two answer the text that Rolando sent?
I'll look at it and respond with, "It's not near me. Do I need to go look at it?" With like a little fire emoji.
As Rolando is sitting on his porch.
Yeah, his reply would just be, no, just make sure that you realize that there's going to be a lot more eyes out tonight.
Yo. All right. So the alleyway that we have that's on the darker side, is there like a little fence you said I'd have to like hop over?
No. If you continue to go all the way to the back end, there's a fenced off spot that has the dumpster locked up. If you attempted to traverse that and go over the dumpster, you might be able to get to the rear of the store. But you can't see that currently from this vantage point.
Yeah. Okay. Alex is just gonna like nod their head for Sasha to follow, and we're just gonna like case the back of the building real quick.
Yeah.
So you're gonna climb over the fence?
I mean, I was just gonna see what I can see from the fence, and if I need to climb over, I will.
Okay. So you come up to the fence. It is latticed in with a colored type of plastic to keep people from viewing into it, but it isn't super tall or anything. It's about 4.5 feet. You can see over it. It has the dumpster locked up, and at the rear end of it, it raises about a foot, so it brings up about 5.5. And then past that, you can see some woods, a couple of other buildings on the opposite side, but you would have to climb over this one, get past the dumpster, over the other one to get to the actual rear of the building, because this fencing connects the two buildings. Apparently, the businesses share a dumpster.
Yeah, that's fair. Right on. You know, in an attempt to be pleasant, I guess, Alex is gonna just walk over to the side door and just knock on it really lightly for the computer shop.
You knock.
Yeah.
There's no answer.
Great. I love that. I love all this shit. How secure does the lock seem for this?
There is a outer screen, and then the interior just looks like a regular doorknob, and then on top there is a secondary lock that seems to be added in post installation. It is a computer shop, so it's not out of the realm of possibility that it does have a little extra security on it.
Great. Cool. Alex is gonna pull out their little notebook and just write on it real quick. Just, where the fuck are you? And then just stick it under the door. Just
You slide
like,
a piece of paper under.
yeah. It's like, well, this is the address. I'm supposed to be meeting somebody.
You wait there for a minute,
Yeah.
2 minutes.
Sasha's just popped himself on top of the dumpster.
I won't even make you roll, Mr. Parkour.
Oh, no. He's just sitting.
3
I can roll
minutes.
that.
Oh no, it's
Oh, no,
pretty
I'll do it.
self-explanatory. You probably could.
Yeah.
4, 5 minutes goes by. You don't hear anything. You don't, even with heightened senses on, you don't hear any footsteps.
Well, being a little grumpy, they're just gonna close their hand into a fist and just knock really hard on the side door.
When you knock really hard, you feel something drop on top of your head, about the size of a pebble. And you feel another one, and
Look
another
up.
one. You look up, and you see an arm,
Mm-hmm.
and then the arm retracts back onto the roof.
Cool. I love this.
Sasha, from your vantage point, you heard the dropping of stone a couple times, and then you look up, and you see an arm hanging out of the side, and a silhouette of an individual. However, since this side doesn't have spotlight, only silhouette, unless you have something that can see in almost total darkness.
I got Eyes of the Beast.
You are more than welcome to activate it.
Yeah, sure, I'll activate.
When you activate it, your eyes become illuminated from a dark to crimson bright red. When you look up, you do see the image of maybe 15 or 16-year-old. You can't tell if it's a boy or a girl. Put up over their head, denim vest, some type of wool type sweatshirt, and they were just tossing a couple of stones, motioned upward, started to back up out of your vantage point.
Cool. I just look at Alex and I just give her a shrug like, we going?
Yeah. I'm going. Just like marches over to the dumpster and just like pushes themselves up, and then she's gonna just climb up the side of the building.
Let's do a X and athletics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody's parkour comes into this, doesn't that?
Somebody's parkour could possibly come into this.
That's what I thought.
I got 3 successes.
Okay, let's
3
roll
successes.
this out.
You do make it up there, but I have a
3.
feeling it's not going to be as smooth as Sasha attempting to show.
Eh. That's fine.
And
Because I hear a lot of dice.
5. 5
5.
successes.
Sasha makes it look almost effortlessly, and as they soar through the air, you just see 2 red orbs go flying up.
Show off.
Sasha lands on their feet. Alex needs to physically climb up, but eventually makes it up. When Sasha lands first, you do see an individual standing on top of the roof, like described before, a 15 or 16-year-old, torn jeans, sneakers, and holding a miniature crossbow aimed right at you.
Just sits down. Okay, this is weird.
And then they wait till Alex climbs up, and Alex would be at full vantage point of them. From this angle, you see them aiming it at you, and they have like a little sleeve, like nylon face cover. You do see some brown hair about shoulder length sticking out of the sides of the hood. Caucasian, really skinny, and has a book bag that's got pins all over of all different types of bands.
So, do you want to just shoot me and get this over with, or what's the plan here?
How do I know you two are who you two are? The child sounds
We're not.
semi-unsure.
I am not really a easily imitatable sort.
They hold the middle of the crossbow now, keeping eyes on you. Eyes tend to be drifting more towards Sasha, since Sasha has these two red burning orbs right now, but still pointed at the both of you.
Just like
attempts to reach into a pocket, and he's pulling out a piece of paper, and then is attempting to like back and forth a little bit, and then the crossbow kind of lowers. Which one of you is Alexis?
Just
Okay.
looks
And then-
absolutely not amused.
Crossbow just comes down, and they actually walk over as they're shoving the piece of paper into the pocket.
Alright, so who the fuck are you?
You knew, and then as they attempt to start saying it, like, you could tell the eyes are just welling up. You knew my mom.
Sue? Alright. Oh god. Alright, kid. Are you good?
I don't know.
Like, do you have a house anymore?
We have a house, but it was just the two of us.
Right.
So I got an email, and it seemed from an automated server. And as they talk, you can tell in their tone when it comes to tech, they seem to know a lot. They continue on with, and when I backtracked it to the home server it came from, I couldn't find a stationary IP address. And when I opened the email, it was titled, "If you are reading this, I'm already dead." And I was sent here, and they turn, and they pick up the backpack, and they open it up, but they don't just pull the zippers down, like they actually just pull it open. Like they're half frustrated, half excited, and they start pulling out like folded up envelopes, like for standard mail, but a bunch of different paper just shoved in almost, and start laying it out on the cobblestone rooftop.
Right, what I was gonna say, before we lose anything to the wind, do you want to move locations, or?
No.
Alright.
I was gonna enter downstairs, but I don't know if you two noticed people that were outside across. They've been there all night.
Yeah.
I
The
don't
one's
know.
reading.
Yeah, and even a couple out there has been out there since like 6 o'clock. And even the person out there with the dog has been out there since at least 4. I have, and they reach into the bag and they pull out like shrink wrapped peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and tuna fish. Like, if you guys are hungry, I have stuff.
I'm good, my dude. Uh,
I've just been chilling out up here the entire time so far.
oh, jeez. All
Waiting
right.
on you.
You gotta.
You have got to take a vacation after this.
Yeah. So, was it your house that got raided, or what the fuck's going on?
My house didn't get raided as much as it looks like the same type of people might be parked outside of my house. So I originally was planning on staying over a friend's house.
Okay.
And I called them and told them that I was sick. So put my backpack on. I made a trek to their house. I noticed that nobody followed me, so then I beat feet to the boardwalk. On the other side of the building over there, I forgot my key to get in. So I climbed up the fire escape. And I've been up here ever
Did you need
since.
me to go get that key for you?
Well, the key's back at the house. I mean, you can try. I'm not gonna force you into a situation that will put you in danger. I mean,
Hey.
we could call the cops.
I'm
Maybe
gonna
they
suggest
can
don't
help.
do that.
Why not?
There are some issues with the situation that cops are not going to help.
Okay.
So, do you have any other family in the area you can go to?
And the eyes start to well up again. No. Closest relatives are probably in New York, but they weren't really close to my mom.
Yeah.
Would they take you in at least?
I don't know. An uncle and my two cousins, but again, we're not really close. When my mom came out over here, she said she came here for work. She never really told me what it was. I figured it was for some type of museum. She kept having to do a bunch of research. And it tied into things that had all different types of historical backgrounds from England and Northern Africa and Spain. And she would never let me into her office. And she had all different types of books scattered all over the place. So I figured she worked at a museum over here, and then I heard of North Shore College, where they had a museum and anthropology division, because I went online and I looked at museums. Obviously, this town is shit. It's small. This place doesn't have a museum, so I figured she might work for the college. And then before I left, I tried to go down there, but it was padlocked off. Normally when she wasn't home, she would keep everything locked up.
All right.
But I'm happy that you got my message.
Yeah, no, it was, I'm gonna say dramatic. A little dramatic, but circumstances, that's fine.
I had to try to keep things as hidden as I could, because I'm only talking to you two. She said 3 people were supposed to show up, but I'm only talking to you two because of the email I got. And he reaches into the bag, and he actually pulls out a printed up copy of it, and he hands it over to you. And if you choose to read it, it starts out as previously mentioned, and it says, "These are the only 3 individuals that I would trust you to speak to. If I am dead, they probably can figure out who killed me. I love you very much. I love you more than this world could ever imagine. You've been a perfect son to me. Please keep yourself safe. And don't go to fucking New York. Your Uncle Tyler's an asshole. I love you, Robert. Your mom, Stacy.
I'm gonna be honest. A place I've been saying is not a place a teenager should be staying. So just looks over at Sasha.
I know how to take care of myself.
I don't doubt that you do.
I have my permit.
Okay.
Yeah, but what do you do after that? Like, if you just live day to day, you're not going to develop so well.
You know, it worked for my mom. I could do it too.
Look, dude, your mom's done a lot of solids for me and then the third guy who's not here because he's securing a location. Anyways, I am inclined to try and help you figure out who did the terrible, awful, no good, very bad thing to your mother. If you want my help, more than happy to do it. But I'm gonna need you to, like...
Before you can even finish your sentence, he just chucks everything out of his hands and he wraps his arms around you. He starts sobbing uncontrollably into your shoulder.
Oh, God. Alexis tries to, like, move their vest so that, like, the studs don't get in.
Don't stab them.
The clutching is tight.
Yeah, just...
the head is buried in.
Yeah.
It's the type of grip you can only imagine if somebody was just rescued from a fire or off the side of a cliff. Just that relief of somebody reaching out.
And while this is going on, I just pull out my cell phone and just start texting, like, the group chat for, like, my little following. And I'm just like, does any one of you have, like, a couch somebody can crash on? I got a friend in need.
And that whole exterior that Robert attempted to put on, like a little tough guy, like, I have a car, I can do this. That all just faded away.
Yeah. Alex looks really awkward for like 2 seconds, and then it's just like, all right, buddy, that's... We gotta get that out of his system.
As
Unfortunately, it's just like...
the sobbing continues and the texting happens, we're gonna go back to the shop, or on the front porch. Rolando is currently sitting. And, 2 quick questions for Rolando. The door to the front of the shop, is it open or is it closed?
No, it's closed.
And normally when you come out here sitting attempting to see this ritualistic site, the last time it happened, what did you actually see?
The very last time that he was out on the porch, well, earlier this evening was when
you actively sat on the porch, waiting for something.
Well, the last time was the smoking man. He sometimes would just show up, and he would show up alongside Rolando, and he would never take a seat. He would just always stand and he always felt his presence, and it was never like, I'm joining you and I'm watching and observing with you. It was more like, I'm watching you waste your time here. So it was always like this fatherly figure that just kind of is always judging, and that was the last time. It was a couple of nights ago, though. It's been quiet since, quiet-ish, There have been other spirits that have come by. The hippie that just disappeared. It's always something. There's always something going on here. Lynn is very touched, as it were, by the spirits. So there's always something going on. So it's a form of entertainment to Rolando, but it's also a form of realization to him that that there's always this weird. Lynn is a weird place, and Lynn is particularly sometimes in a space where it's very easy for spirits to just assert themselves in whatever way. They will show you what they want you to see, and fortunately, sometimes he's there to see it.
So, as you're sitting on the porch, you do happen to partake of such an event. Off in the distance, off to your left-hand side, the same side that has sirens and the barricades off in the distance. And at this point, you actually see, periodically, for at least 15 to 20 minutes, huge shots of water up in the air. It seems to try to put out some type of fire. You hear the laughter of children, specifically two, as they're chasing each other. And at first, you don't see them, you hear them. And then you hear the rustling probably 15 to 20 feet in front of you in the middle of the street. But you only hear at this point. And it sounds like sounds that children make if they're playing anything from cowboys and Indians to cops and robbers, like mouth sounds of "Pacow, pacow, pew, pew, pacow, pacow. I'm gonna get you," and the sounds circle each other around the middle of the street. You don't see anything, you just hear it. And from time to time, you see like stone pick up in the middle of the street. Every once in a while, you hear like a ping off a stop sign, like something got chucked at a stop sign, but it sounds like children playing.
He's trying to like lock into, the sounds of the ka-chow, ka-chow. And does it seem like it's on a loop, or is it very like it's changing, like kids, like they change, like from one moment to the next, they're doing something completely different.
It's active. It spreads across all different parts of the street, but they're clearly doing it right in front of your business. Nothing looped. What do you do?
Rolando kind of like reaches down and he takes off one of his shoes. And he wears nice shoes generally, with a short heel, but shoe nonetheless. And he's waiting for the next time that he hears the ka-chow, ka-chow, and then he tries to immediately follow it by slamming the heel on the wood of the porch, like trying to really like augment the shots, trying to draw their attention.
You hear it, and then you follow in suit. Ka-chow, ka-chow, slap, slap. And then you hear them laughing. And then they start to go at it again, and you repeat again, and they just start to giggle. And now it just seems to be like a game. Any sounds they make, and they start to shuffle around like to one end of the property, and it's have to do it, and then the other end, and then at one point they come pretty close to the front steps, but you can clearly hear the giggling. Like, this is genuine joy.
Yeah. But I can't see them.
You can't see them.
he wants to kick on Oblivion's sight just to see, if he can. Maybe he just needs a little help to see.
I don't believe Oblivion's sight has aroused, correct?
It does not.
Okay.
It does not.
You close your eyes. When you reopen them, orbs of deep, voided onyx completely cover your ocular. Can't tell where the pupil starts or ends. If somebody stared into your eyes, it would seem almost endless. And when you reopen them, you don't just see two children. You see two children in colonial-style outfits. About 5 or 6 years old each. One's a boy, one's a girl. The boy is holding a carved out, what seems to be the shape of a rifle, but there's not really anything else on it. It's about this big. The girl is holding a similar piece that's carved out, but it's more like a pistol, and under her left arm, she has a little stuffed Raggedy Ann-esque doll. And you don't only see the children, you see the objects and you see the terrain that used to be on this street. You see trees that don't exist anymore, you see stones, you see turned over logs, and the children at first continue to play, and then they turn and they see you actively looking at them. And the girl stops immediately. The boy plays on for a couple of seconds more and then says, come on, I want you to play with me, come on, and then stops, and they both just stare at you now.
He starts playing peekaboo with them. He covers his eyes.
And they actually take a couple of steps closer, and you can hear them giggling.
Yeah. And he'll open up, his fingers, just so that he can see them, and
they
closes,
start whispering to each other.
Rolando has no idea whether or not he looks normal here. So he's actually kind of a little afraid that he knows what he looks like, in the real world, his world. But he's afraid that he's gonna frighten them, with two empty orbits. So
I'll tell you, without a roll, from your experience, especially with the smoking man, anytime you've ever interacted with anybody from the other side, you really haven't gotten a negative reaction when you've turned on this ability. However, he likes to poke at you for it, like you're cheating.
Yeah.
You could be doing this on your own without having to do that. But he's the only spirit that's ever commented.
Right.
As far as that end of it.
So he'll continue to play that game with them, and he'll cover up, and he's still holding the shoe, and he's like he'll tap, because he wants them to continue to play, but he wants them to do it on their terms. Like, so, I can see you can see me now, but I want you to play.
They are playing, and then the girl stops and then starts tugging at the boy's coat and points to the left, and then up into the air. And then the boy says to you in a voice that does not sound like a little boy, it sounds like a grown-up man. Are you here to put the fire out? And the girl is tugging on his coat.
Rolando will just say, I don't know if I have enough water.
They pulled the man from the weird carriage. Are you here to put the fire out?
Is the man okay? Is the
No.
man well?
No. They pulled the man from the weird carriage in the other carriage that has a ladder on it. And the little girl at this point, like, has two hands clutched onto the other child's jacket, and as he speaks, she kind of curls up behind him, so you only really see, like, half her face now. A man isn't a man.
Rolando takes his shoe and he pops it back onto his foot, and he says, "Do you want to go look at the man who is not a man together?"
No.
Was he scary?
The man's a monster.
He was a monster. How did
Man's
he look?
a monster.
What made it a monster? Did he have scary eyes, claws?
When they pull the man
teeth
out,
with points?
he turns his head back and he starts to whisper back to the girl, and then she nods her head. He's like, okay. The man had black wings and shadow that hung off of him, and it's nighttime. The sun's not out.
So
he's not a
he was
man. He's a monster.
Oh. Would your parents say that he's a devil? Did he look like a devil?
What's a devil?
It would have wings and claws and fangs and a scary face, maybe horns.
And he would turn and he would whisper to her again. She didn't say anything this time. And he starts, like, poking at her. She just starts shaking her head. And he turns back and he goes, I don't know.
Ugh, that does sound like a monster, though.
That's a monster.
So, you would say that he was darker than the night.
Yeah.
But they pulled him from a strange carriage that was made out of iron?
They pulled it
Metal?
to help him. It looked like a really weird square carriage. Fire came out of it. It looks like he hit a long pole.
A pole that was in a tree.
A pole. Yeah. Wood. Yeah. It was made of wood. It didn't have any branches on it. And on the very top, it had like this rope that was strung about and connected to other ones that were off in a distance.
When they pulled the man out, did he have anything? Was he carrying a bag?
He wasn't moving. No, he wasn't moving.
Maybe the scary man,
He wasn't a man, he was a monster.
maybe the scary monster wasn't alive anymore. Did you see if he had anything with him?
We didn't get close. He stayed behind a tree.
Yeah. So maybe he didn't. No, he wasn't a man. So
He
perhaps
pretended to be a man.
But the strange carriage that he came out of, it was on fire?
Yeah. It still is, and the girl points. And if you turn your head, you still see a smoky plume up in the air. It isn't as hardcore as before when you first stepped out, because obviously firefighters are attempting to take care of it, but it's still there.
Yeah. So, okay, so, well, it's a good thing that you didn't get too close, because a scary man, that's not a good thing. So,
Yeah, fire's very dangerous. Mommy and
Yes.
Daddy say stay away from fire.
well, they would know best. Just remember that your mommy and daddy always know best.
Yeah.
Listen to what they say.
I love them very
So-
much. And then
Well, you should.
you finally
you
hear her
both-
chime up. I love Mommy and Daddy.
And you're a brother and sister?
Yeah.
What are your names?
And he goes to say it.
Now, this entire time, his voice didn't change.
Nope.
It was not a boy's voice.
No.
But the little that I heard of her voice, was it a little girl's voice
Yes.
or no?
And standing there, and he's trying to think. And little girl just stares at you. From a half portion of the face, you can see just stares at you hanging on to the boy's coat. And the boy just starts to go off into contemplation almost. And he can't remember a name. Make me a wits and academics or occult.
Yeah, let's go with the occult.
Okay.
Three successes, two of them were blood.
You know, from talking to people in passing, everything doesn't always pass over. Things can be forgotten. Things can be lost. Especially if there was some type of trauma that occurred in the actual passing. It's not uncommon from your experience when you talk to spirits that they forget family members, addresses, locations, even their names. And he's just standing
Rolando-
there and he's like,
Well, my name is Rolando, and as he says this, he gets up, he starts walking over to them, and he immediately, as soon as he gets close enough, he just he goes down to a knee, and he just gives them a good once over. He's doing it really slowly and non-threateningly, because she's already timid about the whole situation, so he's basically just being as non-threatening as he can, as he approaches them.
when you get close enough, you see on the boy in his midsection across where his shirt is, it would be stained in blood. What you can see of the girl up this close, her skin on her face is semi-flaked off.
Like, not burn, but like desiccated, dried out.
From decomposition.
But nothing from what I can see on her that would indicate like why she is decaying.
You can make me a roll.
Yeah. I would like to roll.
Get
I guess
creative
another
with
wits.
it.
A wits and medicine.
Sure.
Two successes, one on the blood.
Even with two, your amount of time you spend talking to spirits, you've had instances where you've spoken to all different types and how they died. The girl seems like she was left to die someplace, and the visual appearance on her face seems like she was left somewhere outside. And it was just the physical decomposition on her face before her actual passing.
Like she died from
Exposure, yes.
as opposed to where he possibly died because
Something happened to his abdomen,
right.
but his face is perfectly intact.
He's not gonna push for any more information from these two, but he does say, "Oh, I am always here, and you can always play here. It's nice to hear you and see you enjoying yourselves. So come back whenever you want."
And then, as you continue to talk, you see him turn his head, and then a girl just up and runs off. And then he goes, "Coming, Mom. Sorry, I gotta go."
It's fine. I will see you again.
Yeah. We like to play over here, it's fun. But we like to come back when there isn't a fire. Can you go put out the fire?
I will go over there and do my best.
Okay. And he takes his little carved out rifle. He throws it over his shoulder. He does his best impression of a soldier. Tries to turn on his heel. Semi-stumbles. And marches off. And you hear the girl way ahead of him just giggling and screaming, "Mommy! Mommy! Mommy!" And then as they head down the street, your vision of them fades off, but you can still hear them for a certain portion afterwards.
Rolando goes back to his stoop, and he thinks about sitting down, but at this point he's gonna go inside and he's gonna go inside to to the main room, to the showing room, and he grabs his deck, and he's just gonna do a quick spread, just because he wants a little guidance here, and he's like, all right, he starts to shuffle, and he just does a quick 5 card spread, just because he wants a little bit of guidance, and then he turns over the first card, and he's expecting some sort of impetus, to set him on his way, because he really feels like, am I supposed to go there and see what this fire is all about?
Pulling 5 cards.
Well, he puts a spread out of 5 cards, but he turns the first card over, and the first card is what he's gonna use as his as his impetus to make a decision, and he pulls the 2 of Swords, and it's basically crossroads, like a hard decision to make, or a decision that needs to be made. So the question is clear in his mind, do I go investigate this, or do I stay here? And he makes up his mind, and he says, I really need to figure this one out. So he pats himself down. He's like, I got my keys, I got my phone, that's all I need. So he heads on out. He closes the door behind him, he locks it, and he walks down, and when he gets to the end of the block, he makes a left. And then as he's going, he sends a message to them and says, I've closed up shop, going to the fire. And then he leaves it at that.
We return to the rooftop at the boardwalk, where Robert is sitting down with his backpack in front of him at this point, and he does have a peanut butter and jelly sandwich out and a thermos, and he's eating. Alex has the remains of moist snob pubble residue
Yep.
and whatnot.
Not the worst thing I've had on me. It's fine.
Reaches into into his little fanny pack, backpack, front pack, and just pulls out a handkerchief and just hands it to her.
Thanks.
Do you have any idea how many times I put my hands in random roof goo? Like, you
Roof-
gotta keep that.
I
You don't ask
need to
where
know.
it comes from or what it is. You just
Yeah,
wipe it off.
I'm good. I don't need to know. Look, man.
Exactly. You gotta keep something to wipe off. Fuck it.
Look, man. We can't have this kid just loose.
Yeah, no, I'm already contacting some people to see if I can find a couch that he can crash on.
Do you want me to take him for tonight?
I thought we were both staying at Rolando's.
We're just gonna go get a motel room. It's fine. Don't
Can I
make it
come
weird.
with?
No.
As you both receive a text from Rolando.
Oh, fuck. Alright, look, we can't fucking hang out on this roof with like creepy people watching.
Yeah.
And oh, for fuck's sake. Look, how about this? I'll take Robert, you go meet up with Rolando and see what the fuck's going on with this fire, because apparently it's important.
I can do that, or I mean, would you just like me to keep looking to see if I can find a semi-permanent place he can blend into?
Yeah, don't stop doing that. I just mean, like... And, like, Alex leans in really close to Sasha and is like, I already told Rolando that we're not doing computer stuff at his house.
No, that's completely
So-
fair. And then he just leans into Alex's ear and goes, I just think it might be a little safer for him to blend in with college students. You can't,
Yeah.
oops a whole group of young adults.
Right, yeah, but we gotta get off this fucking roof.
Yeah, next
So-
roof.
Yeah. So let's get off this roof around the back. Me and Robert just will walk to my car from here, and you can go meet up with Rolando and see what's going on.
No, I'm already on the roof. This will make it easy to go find the fire.
Okay, cool, yeah, if you want to jump roofs, like, by all means.
You don't even have to look around. You see the exact location of the plume of smoke. And you can see off in a distance, at least several blocks away, reflections of flashing lights.
You sure I can't take the kid? Like, the cops don't like me tonight.
Okay, don't get caught.
Loves you too.
Look, man, like, it's fine. Look, it's fine. Like, laws only matter if you get caught. It's fine. Just go. Just don't jump into the fire, please.
I have not gotten laid in a hot second. I'm not going to unalive myself tonight.
You say shit like that, and then you wonder why I have to be like, hey, don't do the crazy thing.
You're making more of a case for me to jump in the fire.
All right, yeah. Alex walks over to Robert. He's like, all right, dude, finish up your sandwich. We're gonna get moving.
Okay. Who's gonna take the computer? He reaches into the same backpack, and it has a separate sleeve divider in it, and it's a laptop. And he goes, I was instructed to give this to you guys. So who's gonna take it?
Do I need to open this right now?
I mean, I'm just doing what I was told. So
No, dude, you're good. I would like to get us to a slightly more secure location than a roof with a bunch of creepy people on the road.
that's fair.
Yeah.
That's smart.
Let's get somewhere a little safer, a little bit more low key, and then you and I can go over all the info you got, okay?
Okay.
Sounds good.
Stands up, he puts everything he has back into the bag. He comes over to you and he holds your hand.
Okay. Do you need me to help you down the roof, or?
No.
Okay. All right, cool.
Sasha was prepping to get off the roof, like assessing angles, and he sees this, and he's just like Slav crouched down, looking at that, just like, what the fuck is that?
Let's just go out the back. Let's just go back to back.
So, your vantage point currently is there's a couple of HVAC protrusions on top of the roof. If you wanted to go to the front edge, there is some lettering that stands out on the top of the building that could semi-obscure you from attempting to make a vantage point from, if you're facing the boardwalk out to the ocean. Your left would be the alleyway that has a spotlight. Your right would be the darkened alley, and behind you, you would have a building that's about 15 feet away. And there is a fence divider between the two buildings.
Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, basically Alex's plan was to avoid the people on the streets and go down back as best she can, basically cut through the woods.
There is a ladder
Sweet. We will take the ladder.
that's caged in, so you can head down as safely. Is Sasha choosing to take the safe way? Or parkour?
I bought that specialty for a reason.
Roll it up.
Yup, there we go. Specialty dice. All the other food. 2. Four successes.
4. With 4, you easily make it down. You do not have to use a ladder. Please describe it to me.
Oh no, I wasn't saying I was going to. I'm not going down. I'm taking the roofs to the fire.
Oh, you're going to traverse. Okay.
Yeah.
With a 4, you start scaling rooftops. From this distance, I'm going to have you do the rule of 3. Have you make 3 consecutive rolls, and that'll determine the time period and if you make it there in one piece accountability.
Yeah, of course.
So, roll it up. Let's see what you get.
3 separate rolls.
Yep.
2 more rolls, or
3
right?
separate rolls.
Okay. 4. Six for the first one.
Okay.
4, 5, critical. Is that? It's not roll another critical on the hungry dice. No. 7 on the second one.
Okay.
Three. Four on the last one.
4 on the last one. So with those 3 rolls, your first 2/3 of your rooftop experience is flawless. Your third, however, you start to go from businesses to actual houses. And you do have to kind of take your time. So on top of that, I'm going to need you to make me a really quick dexterity and stealth.
Oh yeah, no,
Because it's not
completely understandable.
Flat roofs, and I'm assuming that you're not attempting to attract attention like Santa Claus in spring from fucking rooftop to rooftop. So let's go with that.
No.
The worst Easter bunny.
Worst. Fucking worst.
Yeah, the shittiest. Yeah, four successes.
Okay. You were taking your time at this point, but as you approach, the lights are brighter, these sirens are a little bit louder, and you get about a block to a block and a half off of the actual barricade to the street that is adjacent to Rolando's shop. And then we're going to skip back to the actual rooftop. And Alexis is going down the back ladder with Robert.
Yes.
Where do you two plan on heading off to?
Basically, Alex's plan is we're gonna hop the little fences, cut through the woods, and then circle back to Rolando's because that's where her car is parked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then from there?
Yeah, and then from there, gonna head back to the Pikmin Motel.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think
like,
that is
the
a
kid
good.
needs Wi-Fi.
Lots of kids need Wi-Fi these days. But I believe that's a really good spot to hold up for this evening. This has been a Lagniappe gaming production. I have been your storyteller, Michael Walsh. I'm going to allow my players to tell you who they are, what they do, the spots that you can find them. We're going to start reverse order. So let's start with Lewis.
Hey everybody, I am Lou Martinez. I will continue to be Lou Martinez even after we sign off here. And I played, my pronouns are he, him, and I played Rolando Galvez, the spirit-touched Hecata in this Shadows over Salem game. And yeah, if you want to follow me on socials, it's at Lou Martinez on the Twitterverse and at Mescal Luis _Martinez on the IG. And yeah, or if you want to catch more of my nonsense in Lagniappe Gaming, it would be in the Blood and Jazz game where I play a different person.
Lou, the Monday.
Oh, the Monday.
Game.
Oh, yeah. You know what? I play a V game for Elderworm Studios, and where I play a cannibal. So, yeah, check that out. Yeah.
For failing that, I need you to revoke your right to be Lou Martinez after the game.
Wow.
Oh my god.
Revoked.
Your card's been revoked.
That's it.
All right. Well, hi, I am Sarah. My pronouns in this body is any of them. Good luck. I also play in the Blood and Jazz game here with Lagniappe. I am also one of the writers and hosts for Blank Buddies podcast. So if you like V5 and talking about like consent and story writing and research history and, you know, not being an asshole,
and the
Check us
deep
out,
dives and the deep dives into the clans and such.
Look, vampires
So
are
deep.
spicy.
Yeah.
You can be spicy respectfully.
Paprika.
And I exist on TikTok apparently. Good luck.
Hi, I'm James the Lorebot. My pronouns also are whatever they are. I do not ascribe to gender. Unsubscribed. I'm also one of the hosts for Blank Bodies. I'm mainly one of the lore researchers. I like looking into old world lore and seeing how it is applicable for V5 currently. Because guess what, folks? They didn't scrap it. It still carries over. Like you still get to play with your stuff mostly. I can be found here on Blood and Jazz as well as a few other small projects. And my Twitter is Shaggy Fury if you want to reach out to me.
I've been your storyteller, Michael Walsh. So find me here on Lagniappe, where I do multiple things between storytell this amazing game with these amazing individuals. I'm a player, NPC, something. I'm Blood and Jazz. I pull out a one-shot here and there, so do a little bit of everything. I wish you all good game, good evening, and we'll see you next time on Shadows over Salem.
Let's do the last shout out for the Odd Duck.
Oh yeah! So we hooked up with Odd Duck Dice. We love Odd Duck Dice. I can tell you, even with them being a sponsor, I still have individuals from our fine real life coterie that reach out to this person on a regular basis and commission dice. So we love them. They are clicky clackies. They are fantastic. Again, they do not have a problem coaching you, discussing with you one-on-one. These were specifically commissioned for Mork Borg, which you can also find on this channel. And I had them specifically themed out to the colors of the core book. They came out fantastic. Absolutely love them. Thank you so much. Other players and other games will show you that their innovative creations that have come out of this. Thank you so much to Odd Duck. And let's say peace out.
Peace.
So-
Good night.
Peace was never an option.
Always choose violence.